I'd like to call this Personnel and Human Services Committee meeting of Tuesday, August the 8th to order at 4:03 p.m. Roll call, please.
Nemec.
Present.
Millet.
Here.
Benajak.
Present.
Herrick.
Here.
Radke. Here. Poyer.
Present.
Begich.
Motion to excuse.
Support.
Quorum present.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
What are you doing now? Getting your candy out?
I'm trying. I got it out already.
Under minutes, I would like to request a motion to replace the Ways and Means minutes with the Personnel and Human Services minutes. A copy has been provided to the commissioners prior to the meeting. The minutes are from July 11th, 2023.
So moved.
Support.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Is there a motion for approval of the replaced
Motion approved.
Personnel and Human Services Committee meeting minutes for July 11th, 2023?
Support.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. At this time is public input. Anyone wishing to address the committee, please approach the podium and state your name and address, and please keep your comments to 5 minutes or less. Do we have anyone for public comment? Going once? Twice? Okay. Moving on to petitions and communications. Is there a motion to receive presentation by Mid-Michigan Community Action Agency?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. John?
Hello, everybody. My name is John Burnett. I am a Regional Outreach Coordinator with Mid-Michigan Community Action. I wanted to give you guys kind of a quick overview of who we are. Kathy serves on our board as well. It's an important position on our board. Our board usually consists of a local politician as well as somebody that we have helped in the past locally, and we try to do that within all the counties that we cover. So here locally, Kathy is our representative for that. I did present a packet for everybody here, and if anybody's here, I have a few extras if anybody wants to see them. Just a packet of the things that we do, and I thought what I would do is kind of give you an overview of who we are, and then kind of a quick Cliff Notes version of the programs that we currently have running that are available for people for help in the area. Probably spend a little bit more time on one or two of them, and then kind of give a quick overview on some of the other ones. So the first and foremost that you have in there is you have a little trifold pamphlet in there. This is a fairly newer one for us. It's a wonderful overview of our agency. Mid-Michigan Community Action is a nonprofit agency. We receive funds through the government in grant form to run different programs to help people low income. One of the things I do like to point out is in the About Us section, this is our mission statement right up front. Mid-Michigan Community Action guides local residents on the path to self-sufficiency through empowerment, education, and community enrichment. One of the key things I really like to talk about on that is the word empowerment. It is something that is key for us when we help people with a lot of the programs we do. We do budgets, we do action plans. We really want to get people into a position where they're helping themselves. It's not always an absolute win for us, but that is our goal, is to empower them to do better, to pull them out of poverty. We cover 8 counties in Michigan, so we do kind of cover a swath from coast to coast. Bay and Midland is the territory that I do outreach for. We also do Gladwin, Clare, Mecosta, Osceola, Muskegon, and Oceana. So we are literally coast to coast. Going into the program I'm going to spend the most amount of time, and I guess I should ask, do I have a time limit, or should we just order pizza now because I can talk forever? So keep it reasonable, is that the answer? The very first thing that you see in here is our home weatherization program. This is the piece that says cut energy bills by as much as 50%. This program differs from a lot of the other programs that we have. In other words, it's not a cash in hand where we're going to pay a bill of yours for something. It is a program where people come in, professionals come into your house, do a home assessment, and figure out ways to A, improve the safety of your home, and to B, make it more energy efficient. So that's the basis of this. We run this in all 8 counties, but taking it a little further is the next sheet that you have here, which is the blue guide. This one is an open-up guide, and it gives you a general idea of everything that they do to a home. Okay, they do a pre-assessment. They come in, they do what's called the blower test, where they hook up a blower, kind of create a vacuum inside the house. They come in with technology that's way above my head, and they can see where air is moving, and they figure out a plan on what they're going to do to a home on that. A couple things about that, some specifics is, and this comes directly from our annual report from last year. We put in $1,413,858 into local homes in what was last year 6 counties. We've now added Muskegon and Oceana, so we're going to be looking even more than that this year. Average per house in just equipment alone is $8,674 per household that we're actually putting into each household. It was 163 homes that we weatherized. Those homes contain seniors, people with disabilities, children, and of course, people that don't fit into that category as well. Sometimes during the weatherization process, a home is deferred. It might be deferred because they're having a roof problem or a furnace problem, something that's unsafe for the workers to be in there, in which case we defer that home, and then sometimes there are funds available to actually help that home get to a point where it can then be weatherized. We put $313,585 into weatherization deferral and served another 83 houses where we were able to get them up to speed on that. So it's been a very successful program. That information, like I said, is right in our annual report. It's the one thing I didn't bring enough copies of because they're fairly limited, but I do have a few if anybody wants to see it. It does have Haley's picture in it, by the way, if anybody's wondering. It's her and I standing together there. Which actually brings us to a really good timing, which is the next piece you see is a neighborhood meeting. We run neighborhood meetings once per quarter. In fact, as of today, we are changing the way we're doing it. It's a positive change. It's going to give us a little bit more ability locally to kind of figure out what we want to talk about at these neighborhood meetings, when we want to do them, whether it be in the evening, on a weekend, during the week, during the day. But we have one scheduled right now. This is going to be at Frankenless Township. I tend to try to spread these out around the county. This one happens to be at Frankenless Township. It is open to the public. There's no qualification for it. What is great about this one is it is going to talk about weatherization. What's even better about it is it's a little different than we've done in the past. It's the first time we've done that here. They're going to bring in a giant trailer that's going to basically look like that piece. And you're going to walk through this trailer, and part of it's set up as an attic, part of it is set up like a basement, part of it's set up like a living area. And they walk through and they educate every single person that goes through there. It's all this stuff that you see here. And at the very least, you're going to walk out of there educated going, wow, this is stuff I need to check on my house, because it is both safety and energy efficiency. And at the time, we'll take names. We'll try to see if we can get people signed up for the program as well. The program is a qualification program. So we do collect income to find out whether somebody qualifies for the program or not. A lot of people are able to qualify for this program. I've had households with 2 fixed income folks, and they're qualifying for it. So very, very good program on that. So that is the weatherization program in a nutshell on what we do. I'd love to see some people come out to that. I have extra forms for the meeting if anybody wants to take these back to their township halls to put up or to pass out anywhere. Next in line, we have, are you behind on water and sewer bills? This has been a very successful program for us, lately especially. We partner both with the city, the county, City of Pinconning, Hampton Township, almost anybody in the area we can team up with on help with being behind on water bills and sewer bills. The one that we don't do well with right now is the City of Essexville. However, there is another grant that can help with water and sewer in Essexville. We just kind of have to change it up on our end a little bit. This one runs up to $1,500 in a fiscal period, multiple times if needed. Again, it is an income-based program. When you call our office, we hook you up with a navigator. They grab all the information they need, run through the system, see if they're qualified, and get people going and get bills paid. We are trying to keep people from getting shut off. We're trying to keep people turned back on if they are shut off. So Navigator does a lot of work with that, especially in the city, because the city has a combined water electric bill. We do not have a grant for electric, but we work with some other different agencies to try to alleviate that portion of it so that we can get people turned back on. Next on there is, are you facing foreclosure? We have a HUD certified housing specialist or housing counselor at our office in Bay City. She covers Bay County, she covers Midland, she covers Saginaw as well. She does a lot of good work working with people. If anybody's falling behind on their mortgage, they should be giving her a call to see what can happen. We don't want to see anybody's home taken away. Going with that directly is the next one, which is property taxes. That one has been a very well-used program in this area. We work very well with Western Prince, the treasurer in Bay City, to get as many homes as possible taken care of, get their taxes paid up for them. You just have to be behind on your taxes. We don't do any current taxes, but when people are falling behind, we want to take care of them as much as possible. So they go through the housing counselor, the foreclosure, the property taxes, as well as the next two, the financial capabilities workshop, and do you want to buy a home? Those four are all based through the housing counselor. They do their part, and once they're done, if there's any kind of payments we can do for them on mortgage or property tax, they will hand it to our end of the building, our navigator, who will then walk through it and see if we can get that paid for them. All right. And then after that, I zip through four of them real quick, so we're a few in. Are you experiencing housing instability is the next one. We have a rapid rehousing program. It is a other side of the office from me, so I talk quickly about this one. For those people that are homeless, experiencing homeless, there is a number that they can call, and there are people that they can work with to look at Section 8, to find rapid rehousing if necessary. It is a fairly long line. There are a lot of people in need right now. Rent is a big deal right now, but there is help locally for that. After that, you'll see the veteran sheet, the one with the American flags on it. Very similar to the rapid rehousing here. We have a section of veteran specialists. Veterans, they pretty much have their own pot of money. It's a different set of money. So we keep a veteran specialist in Bay City. However, that person is in Midland right now, and then there'll be one in Bay City soon. But with veterans that are having housing instability, we want to help them as much as possible.
That's good.
After that, senior food distribution, and the one after that, Bay quarterly food distribution. So two different food programs that we're running. This is what a lot of people in the area call food commodities. This is, and you may have seen it depending on where you are, we have 3 different public pickup locations where trucks come in, unload giant boxes of food and give them to people. This is a very easy thing to get qualified for. It's actually a you're telling them how much you make, you're showing up, you're doing it right on the spot, and they're giving you food. The senior one is a monthly giveaway. Every month on a certain date, they can show up at a certain place. They don't even get out of their car. They just literally pull up, tell them who they are, they load up the box into their car, and they're good to go. They do that every month. The other one, the quarterly, that is for the all age. So if you're not, and senior, by the way, is 60 and up. If you're under 60, have a young family, we do have a quarterly. You're going to get more food at the quarterly, but you're only going to get it every 3 months. So our pamphlet here is close to out of date. We have one more quarterly pickup left, and then we get a new sheet, which I haven't seen yet, but I'm sure I asked about it. It'll be coming soon, which will be quarterly pickups. You can actually sign up for both if you're a senior, and that's called double box pickup day, and you're on those quarterly days, you're actually picking up both boxes. This is good food. This is not...
Right.
This is not stuff that, the grocery store's trying to get rid of it. I've been to our warehouse, we've watched it, I've helped pack boxes, they have it down to a science, they bring in pallets of really good food, and they pack a box. They pack one box, they make it look perfect, so it can be packed, and they schematic it and say, hey, everybody's box has to look like this. This is how you pack it. That way they can stack them exactly the way they need to, keep perfect counts, load them onto trucks, and the trucks move off and run. We also do this in all of the counties as well. And then last but not least, we're kind of going backwards now, going back to energy savings. We run energy savings workshops. I do these in both Midland and Bay City. I do them twice a month. I offer them twice a month. They are 100% free. There is no qualification. This is one of the few that's a no qualification. Anybody can show up for it. And what we do is I try to look at it as the weatherization program. That's the pros coming in and doing everything. That's not a do-it-yourself. That's where the pros come in and do it all for you. The energy savings workshop is stuff that you can do on your own. And I love it to be the starting point, because we're going to give you stuff that you can do on your own, and then the pros come in and get the big stuff done after that. The stuff that you see pictured on here, when I have it available, and right now I have most of it available, we will give it to you when you come to the workshop. So you come, you got to listen to me ramble for a little bit. We're going to talk about consumers' bills, what to look for on those, and then it's a very hands-on workshop. So you come in and we're going to have a little window, and we're going to show you how to insulate that window. We're going to show you how to seal that door up. We're going to show you how to seal up your outfits, and honest to God, I will show you how to screw in a light bulb, because I have a sample of it, and I've had people be okay with that, actually. But those are the things we do for these. Again, very good program. So I know I buzzed through a lot of these very quickly. There are other little things available, like a home stability program where we can put small bits of money into larger repairs. There's a little bit more to talk about that than we can do in a real quick 1-minute talk. Does anybody have any questions? I know I flew through those
I do.
about any of this.
So where, number one, where are you located?
Oh, the office in Bay City?
Yeah.
We are right on the corner of Washington and Columbus. If you know where the Washington Street Pub is, our building is connected to it. We are ready, we share a wall.
And I just want to let you know, I think, I've never seen this before, this material. So I think you've been pretty informative, because I've seen a couple people that ask me questions sometimes, and a lot of times in the last year, we referred everybody to like our ARPA program, which we had through here.
Yep.
But it's nice to know that there's something else out there for people who need it, and like that I was not even aware of all the things that you did.
Yeah, so when I came into this this industry, I guess I should say, I came from the profit world before I went into the nonprofit world. Something pulled me, own personal story, but I got pulled out of the profit world and said, I want to go into where I'm helping people. And it's one of the things I noticed when I got here was, and in fact, it was an interview question, was, what do you know about us? And I'm like, well, I went to your website and I feel like I know less now than I did before I started looking, because there's so much that you do. And I kind of liken it to a sales cold call versus a warm call. I spend a lot of my time doing outreach. I mean, I go to churches and I go to different meetings and I go to other agencies, and I do a very similar presentation, whether it be a one-on-one or in a group like this, with the idea that the more information you guys have, the more warm your referrals to us can be. We've been granted the money, we have to give that money out. We want to utilize that money, but we want to do it properly. And I think we can do a great injustice to somebody by just saying, hey, go to agency A. Well, we don't do it, go to B. Well, did you go back to A? Did you go to C? And people can quickly feel pushed around, not referred. And so the idea is really the more we have an education, the more things, I like to arm people and agencies and churches and such with a place that they can send people. And that's the more information you have, the better. So I personally, with what I do for a living, I am open to meeting with anybody in a group like this. I'm willing to do one-on-ones. I'm willing to go into your townships and talk, schools. I've done it with the health department or mental health department. I'll do anything just to get the information out there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to say that I've long admired what community action agencies do, and lately we've had people who are facing homelessness because of the rising rent rates.
Yeah.
And they've been evicted for non-payment of rent. However, and we did call your office, and I think you could get out, the nearest entity that had an opening was in Beaverton. Nothing in Bay County, and I guess lengthy waiting list. Is there anything else you can do to help someone that's homeless? besides get them on a list for affordable housing?
Yeah, and I wish I could give you
We
a
have
better
good
answer,
Samaritans
because
now.
it really is, and you're 100% correct, it is an ongoing problem. When we go to some of these meetings with agencies and we talk to other agencies and they say, we always say, what's everybody seeing? And they always say, first thing they always say is rent, the second thing they say is consumers. And it's something we don't have direct payment for, so a lot of times it's, all right, let's really wrap ourselves around this situation and see where we can help. Can we loosen up money here by helping here, which would loosen up money for a rent type of thing. But a lot of the problems we're seeing is that rent is just very high right now, very high. I mean, when you look at, if you go to rent an apartment right now, or even a room somewhere, it's much higher than we've seen in the past. So that is an ongoing problem. I am not directly connected to that part of it, but I have conversations with them sometimes, and I didn't know about the Beaverton part, but I have heard that there are a lot of places that are just out of space on who can
And
house.
lengthy lists of people waiting to get in.
Yes, and Section 8 is, kind of runs as its own entity. It's a confusing one, to say the least. They kind of make their polls when they make their polls to see who's going to have interest. A lot of times the waiting list, by the time they get to somebody and they make that call, the person's already had to find something else. So it is 100%, yes. I'm being very elusive on here because I don't have a great answer for you, but it is definitely a known.
But it's great to hear that you can also help with mortgage payments and property taxes, because the board approved $1 million of our ARP funding to be spent throughout Bay County outside the city, which had their own program, home assistance program. So it was very well received. We helped a lot of people, but then that expired. So, that's good to know that you might have resources available to help people avoid foreclosure.
Yeah, and in that situation with the foreclosure situation, so both property taxes, which is pretty near and dear to my heart, because I hate to make all your mortgage payments and then still lose a home. That's, to me, is very tough, as well as the mortgage payment issue. That one goes through a more extensive process in some of our other grants for like a water bill regularization, because you actually work directly with a HUD certified counselor. So they really are taking a lot of steps. They're taking a lot of time with you, and they're going through a lot. We do ask for some skin in the game. We're going to be taking time off people. We're going to be doing in that situation, the budget is much more specific on what they do. They look at other options. It's not just, yeah, you're behind, here's money. It is looking at different options. Are they calling lenders? Are they checking on the ability to change interest rates? What about the credit score? Do we need to work with that? So there's a lot of different things that they look at first before they make a decision that we can do this. But they do keep the timing in mind too. If we look at a situation on when is somebody going to lose a home, when is our cutoff here? And sometimes they have us scrambling a little bit, quite honestly.
Imagine you've been very busy lately, so.
It has, yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you for what you guys do. And I'm with the Veterans Affairs here in Bay County. So I see this one. Could you give me maybe an example? Have you had a lot of vets come, and where would they be placed? So I have a clue, if I have one come to me, what kind of.
Yeah, and I've actually, and I forget the two gentlemen's name downstairs.
Mark and Gary.
Yeah, thank you. I've actually met with them, with our previous veteran specialists. We had a meeting with them a few months ago, kind of went through that. I don't know exactly where they place everybody, but they do go through a process where vet comes in, they do their intake process, they then go out, find where they do a full inspection of that place. It gets re-inspected multiple times to make sure we're not just putting them in something.
Well, if you sat with them, I'll follow up with them then. It must have been right before I came in. So thank
Okay.
you for what you guys do.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Question?
Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your time. I hope I enlightened you a little bit. Like I said, I know I kind of spoke quick. It really just is an introduction to what we do. There is help out there. The other thing I should say is that even in situations where we can't help, we try to connect ourselves with other resources so that we can refer people toward other resources. It really is a full, we try to case manage versus just either deny or accept.
Yes. Thank you for
Okay.
helping your fellow
Thank
man.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks.
Moving on with Resolution B, Bay County Friend of the Court, Office Reclassifications, Secretary to Family Evaluators, and FOC Assistance, FOC TF07, to Senior Administrative Assistant Certified Electronic Recorder, TF08.
So moved.
Support. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Resolution C, Director of Administrative Services and Veterans Affairs Animal Services, part-time custodian, kennel assistant position.
So moved.
Support. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Resolution D, Personnel Director, Brown and Brown Enrollment Agreement.
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Resolution for the Health Department, Plan of Organization.
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Resolution 2, Health Department, My Community Dental Centers, MCDC Agreement Renewal.
So moved. Support.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Resolution 3, Health Department, NEMCSA Early Head Start Agreement.
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 4, Health Department FY 2023 through 2024 CPBC Agreement.
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Health Department MOU with McLaren Bay Region for maternal and infant health collaborative efforts.
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Referrals, are there any referrals? Okay, unfinished business? Any unfinished business? Any new business? Amber, is there a need for a closed session?
There is not, Madam Chair.
Any miscellaneous? Yeah.
Yeah, I am wondering if there are any updates on the feasibility study for the community center pool?
So the community center pool feasibility study has been submitted. It's going through the purchasing policy process. I would assume that it's going to be released in short order here as it's making its way through the process. And then at that point, once it's released, there's a time frame where vendors have a time to respond. After the vendors respond, then we will select a vendor that brings the best value to the county. And then after that, we're off and running.
Yes.
And you might want, we have some of the pool supporters and in the audience with us tonight, and they might be pleased to know that the board approved a resolution to apply for a grant through the Community Center Grant Program, up to $2.5 million per grant, however, limited to $60 million statewide. But we just wanted everyone to know that Bay County intends to also pursue that option to see if funding can be secured, either the whole $2.5 million or a portion thereof to be earmarked in Bay County for a community center pool. So I thought they might want to know that. I'm not sure if there's an ability for them to speak at this point, but I think they got here a little late from public input. So.
Good.
We do that then.
Any more miscellaneous?
What would you say, announcements?
Okay.
Yeah. So, is that what we're on, announcements?
Yes, we're on announcements.
So everybody knows that yesterday was the first day of high school football practice in Bay County for all our teams, you know, Pink County and John Glenn and Western. and the Garber and All Saints and Central. So they started practice yesterday, and they'll start to have a scrimmage next week. All of them will, and the regular season will start in about 2 weeks. And this past weekend was like the biggest bass tournament they've ever had in Bay County. You know, it was amazing. And anybody went down there, you know, some of us did, and it was definitely wet on Sunday, but it was underneath the pavilion. But it was live on TV. They had cameramen on the boats while they were catching fish. You could live stream it. It was one of the best things that's happened in Bay County in a while. I mean, we have a fishing industry here, you know, between the walleye and the bass, and we've had a lot of tournaments this year. We've been pretty fortunate, you know, but as a community effort, there's no doubt about it. You know, I know a lot of people put money. They don't just come here because you know, you're nice people. They want to see money too. And I know I talked to a few businesses that, you know, put in $5,000 and $10,000 and, you know, to help get that tournament here. And it was a great finish, you know, and it was amazing to see how many people were down there in the rain on Sunday, including me. But just all good for Bay County. Nothing bad comes out of it. It's all good, you know, good publicity. I think it's going to be on TV, the regular TV in November, I think is when they got it scheduled for. But the guy who won the tournament won $100,000. He won Angler of the Year, got all these big trophies. It was just nice, you know, and I'm not a big fisherman. My grandson is, but I'm not. But it's just kind of neat to see all the people down there, all the kids and parents and grandparents. Very exciting. Good for Bay County. And they have another bass tournament coming up, I think, another week down by the Edson, too. So they just keep coming back. So it's all good.
That's great.
That's all I got.
Thank you.
Kristen has some.
Yes.
Hi, just really quick, I just wanted to mention that today officially kicks off the Bay County Fair with all sorts of events. So I hope everybody's able to make it down there.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyone else? Any announcements?
I think Commissioner Porter, would you like to say something about Bay County Fairgrounds?
Well, I would say that the fair is a great place where the kids can put their animals on display, and then you can purchase them. I have experience doing that back in 2002 when I was a county commissioner.
Did you get a deal on it?
I got a deal. I think it's a record I don't think will ever be broken. I hope it is someday, you know, because it keeps brought up all the time. How much did you pay for that steer? You know, a lot of money, and I'm still paying on it. So anyway, I would encourage you all to support the kids at the fair. It's a great thing for the kids to help them out. So.
I just reiterate Commissioner Poyer's, it's a great program for the kids involved in 4-H. And he was a generous donor to the program because I don't know if you realized it was by the pound live weight.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to mention just before COVID, Commissioner Begic and I attended, and I got my chicken for $200. But he got his chicken for $300, so we weren't far behind you. But we weren't at the $8,000 mark. So.
Well, actually, it was only $7,200.
Oh, only $7,200.
It's good chicken.
Very, very good
Good
beef.
beef.
Beef
Yeah,
is better.
beef.
The massage. Wagyu had to be Wagyu.
Oh, my gosh. Too funny.
And talking about the fair, we were out there, Commissioners Casey and Colleen and myself were out there for the grand opening today, and it was very well attended. So it looks like it's going to be a good weekend for it, good week.
It's on from the 8th through the 12th.
Yep.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Motion to adjourn.
Support.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.